team that you guys have shown up to talk about and hear about. My name is Don Peterson, and I am the math teacher, and this is
Israel Ford, I'm the science teacher.
Jared Ackley, U.S. History.
And then Miss Wright back there, you'll see on the video a little bit later, she teaches language arts. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit in general about math, and I'm going to tell you some specifics about tutorials and getting help if your kids aren't doing well. So I teach 8th grade math, and I teach Algebra 1. I'm also the department chair for Hudson Bath for math. If you ever need any help, where you would go for that would be either in the mornings, you can come see me, or you can see me in the afternoons if you make an appointment, only because I have kids that I tutor outside of school. So if I need you to stay here for a little bit longer to help your child, you just need to let me know that ahead of time. They can also come in during go time. You guys know what go time is? Have you heard it? Go time, okay. So they're going to come in during go time with a pass, and I can help them then. I probably get here, I'm going to say,
We get here like 6:30.
yeah, we're here early. So, you know, like if there's kids that are like on sports teams and, you know, whatever, we're here. We're also math. So, you know, and science, it's the two things that tend to have a lot of need for help. So we make sure that we're here early. A couple things that I would like you to know also about math itself is the calculator we use. We use the TI-84 Plus. This is on my little presentation on Schoology if you haven't gotten on that yet. But we use the TI-84 Plus. I make sure that each kid has one of these so that when they come to class, they have one to use. They will need one, however. If this was a high school class, for example, if it was Algebra 1 in high school, they'd be required to get it because there's not one for each kid. This is the calculator they can use all the way through college. They can use it on SATs, ACTs. I wouldn't recommend spending more on like the color versions or the Inspire calculators. They're fun. I mean, I have them because I'm just into that stuff, but as far as your kids needing, this is all they really need. They need to have a scientific graphing calculator. The difference would be scientific calculator is just a little window, the graphing calculator has the big window, so they wouldn't need that kind of stuff. For 8th grade math, this is the third year now that they've been able to use it, so they also need it. So even though they're in 8th grade math, I recommend getting one. It doesn't have to be brand new, it'll still do the functions. You get one, send it to me, and you're like, it doesn't have everything on there, I can load functions onto that calculator. So if you get one that, let's say, well, it's an 84, but they said it was an old one, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I still have some of the ones that I use personally are ones that my kids use when they start here. My daughter started in 6th grade here, and I just got her the calculator because they had started using it in 6th grade for different things. And she started in 6th grade here in 2001. So she's 27 now, and I still use that calculator. I just upload stuff, right? So it really is it's a good thing to have. They'll use it for science also. Not necessarily in middle school, a little bit maybe. Not the graphing section of it so much, but they will use it in science in high school, so I do recommend that. So TI-84 Plus. As far as what they're expecting, yes ma'am.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Then that just stays home, right? So the one
That stays home, yeah.
Not back and forth.
Correct, because I have a class set for everyone, and I assign everybody their own calculator, so there's maybe, I have 5 classes, so there's maybe 5 kids that use each one of those calculators a
So
day.
if you have multiple kids at home and multiple maths, is one at home okay? Or?
Yes, it is, because they're going to know how to use the catalog. They all know how to clear the RAM right now, which I have them clear the RAM every time they come in, which is 2nd plus 712. So you could, I wish it was 512 because that would have been so cool, but it's not. 2nd plus 712. Once they clear it, then any level of math can use it. And they can change anything in the catalog, and I will show them how to do that throughout the year, so they know how to get back to standard.
Okay,
Yeah, so just one at home is absolutely fine. I will say if your child is in 8th grade math, this is the year that they do need to pass. Another one of those, you know, 5th grade, 8th grade, this is the year they do need to pass 8th grade math in order to go on to high school. They will have 3 chances. But let me tell you, last year no one needed 3 chances. We did really well. We did really well. I had, I think, 4 kids that needed a 2nd chance, and they did that during the school year before summer school started, and then done. And if they need a 3rd chance, they need to go to summer school. They take it a 3rd time. I've never had anybody not pass it after the 3rd time. That's been a long time. Usually they pass it the 1st time. And as far as Algebra 1 goes, this is also the year that they have high school credit for this course. So it'll be the first thing that they have on their high school transcript. I want to make clear, though, that even though it's on the high school transcript, it is not part of their GPA. Any course that they take outside of the building of the high school does not go onto their GPA. So let's say they take a dual credit course at ACC their junior year, they take government and economics. Yes, it will count, yes, it will be on their transcript in a separate little section, but not part of their GPA, because it's not in the building where they are graduating. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. What they do have to pass, though, in Algebra 1 is something called an EOC, end of course exam. It's the only math end of course exam that they need to pass for high school graduation. So if they're taking it this year, they'll be passing it this year. Good news, I've never had anybody fail, never. And we had 91% commended in algebra last year. You know, we don't let it happen. It's your kids will succeed. And feel free to call me anytime if you need help on anything, if you're like, they're not doing it. And I'm a mom of 3, so like I bring it in the classroom. You know, if they come without homework, if they aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know, mom, combination mom, and I'm from Chicago. It happens. We make it happen for them. So, you know, if you have any concerns, let me know, and I will be mom at school. You know, if you need something to happen and it's not working, they're not doing your homework, and you can't figure out why they're not doing their homework, let them talk to me. I will help them understand. Does anybody have any questions for me as far as math goes? Okay, I'm seeing another great year. Thank you so much. I'm going to be up in the front of the building in one of the rooms in there explaining more about flipped classroom, which is what we do in algebra. You can find any of the flipped classroom information also on my website on Schoology, and play the video, and it'll tell where to find that. It'll also say, hey, where are those Algebra 1 videos? I actually have a link on my website where you can click and go, oh, that's where the homework is. And everything else I have is on Schoology. Yes, ma'am.
Question. So, how much homework are they getting?
For algebra,
Yeah.
they need to do videos.
So they should be looking at the video.
That's it.
Okay.
The only other homework they would have is a test review.
Okay.
They look at the videos and they come in and they've got to do all their work with me. I walk around, I talk to each individual student every single day. Each individual student, every single day. And that is the benefit of having this flipped classroom. I can sit down with them, and I do. There's some that are like, I'm good, I get it. They have to show me they're good, they get it, because we have little starters when they come in. But I think that that's the real benefit. And I'll tell you, you know, you can do it either way. Things go either way as far as how they can perform. But since I've been doing flipped classroom, there are 2 chapters that we traditionally always had to reteach: exponential functions and then quadratic equations and factoring quadratic equations. With flipped classroom, we have not had to do that. We've also gone from 67% commended up to 91% commended. So it really does work because they have to talk directly with me. If they have to answer and I ask them, well, why'd you do it like this? Can you tell me what's happening there? They really have to think. And they have to, and they know it, and they know I'm going to sit down right next to them. The 8th graders, they just sweat, and I just sit on, so, did you do it? How did you do that? And you know, that just, the sweat factor is, well, that's fun for me, but it's for them, it really does make them like, oh, hyper engaged. It really does, you know, not just like, yeah, I get it, and they move on, and they're not really paying attention. It really does make them hyper engaged, so helpful. Yeah, so we'll be talking more about that upstairs, that's what I'm going to go to now, but please feel free to contact me. All my information is on Schoology, Don Peterson.
Thank you.
Compared to that, so it's hard to follow there. So this is my second year teaching. If you watch my video, you know that. I really love what I do. I show up here early every single day, 6:30 in the morning. So if your student needs help, I'm here as soon as they'll let it down. 7:30, I'll be here every single day. So please have them come and see me if they're at all not grasping some of the concepts that we have. As far as homework goes, we do not have a lot of homework in science. Most of our learning is done in the classroom. Homework assignments will be extensions of the lessons that we have in class. If we didn't finish something, we'll have them do it at home. If you have a pre-AP student, we will have a lot of outside of class projects. I'm sure that some of you may have already seen your kids working on those. Those will all be posted on Schoology. So if you check Schoology in my updates, you'll see what we're doing for that day, for the materials. Per the folder, you'll see if anything as far as notes, link, worksheets, whatever the case may be, it will all be listed there. So you can follow right along with the kids it says I don't have any homework, you can look on that calendar and go right off if there's anything. As far as what I'm going to be talking about here is these beautiful open learning spaces that we have here, what we call the common areas or the 8th grade house. So as far as expectation goes here, one thing we wanted to point out is that we only allow water, no food or drink in here other than that. So we want to try to prevent them from bringing their Starbucks in here so people kind of pass that message along. Very, very nice, right? We like to keep these things really, really nice and clean and upbeat. And, you know, when I walk in here in the morning, if I step and goes up, you see the sunshine through all these windows, and this is not the environment that I grew up in. So I feel blessed being a part of this. And I'm sure maybe some of your kids don't have that perspective, but they'll one day realize how blessed they were to learn in an environment like this. As far as this learning environment goes, they're allowed to come down at 8:15. So they're allowed in the house at 8:15. There's tutorials going on all up until that point. But 8:15, they're supposed to visit their locker, come inside here where we have teachers that are monitoring them, so they're not just in here bouncing off the walls and doing whatnot, but so they can be in here socializing, working on homework, whatever the case may be, but they're supposed to be in here in the house after visiting their lockers. Okay? As far as in the classroom, this is an extension of our classroom. I don't use it near as much. We're doing labs, like physics labs. I use this full area here, so we're running back and forth and having cars shoot back and forth, and it's kind of dangerous inside of there. So we will absolutely use that as an extension of the classroom. I will also use it for reteaching concepts. If I have a student that's not grasping something, I'll have my inclusion teacher come out here with them, and that allows us to keep the ship sailing and not having to go backwards and making sure everybody goes forward. And we want to teach not to the lowest common denominator. We want to bring them up to the level that we know they all can achieve. As far as, let's see here, so I'm not missing anything. Sorry, guys. Okay, retakes, makeups. Yes, we'll have them out here retaking. I don't know, we had a bug come through here or something that half our students were sick, so a lot of them are out here with our including teachers doing makeups on retakes on tests, so that we're going to use that a lot for this area. I know Ms. Wright uses this a lot for sort of stretching out quiet reading time, not straining your eyes with all this artificial light. Really nice area to do that. One thing y'all rest assured is that we don't let them come out here and play, and they're not being monitored. If I'm on and off period, I'm walking through here and making sure that they are keeping up with what they're supposed to be keeping up with, being responsible. This is the age that I tell them, you don't realize it, you start making adult decisions before you realize they're adult decisions. So we're going to try to get them to start realizing that, hey, you are an adult, you should be acting like an adult, and your behavior should go along with that. Okay. Any questions? I know I rattled through that miserably. Any questions about what to expect in science, what to expect in the common spaces? Yes.
So you don't offer much homework, but we have these projects. How long do you?
So 2 weeks. This first one was kind of an outlier in that it was more of a week and a half. They will generally have 2 weeks for each of their projects, and some of them even more than that. And some of them will be structured in the way that we'll have checkpoints along the way to make sure that, hey, you've done 1 and 2 of the rubrics, make sure that you're not going to wait until Tuesday midnight for these 2 on Wednesday. And like I said, we'll probably have 5 of those at least throughout the year. And the next one will be the molecule project. You'll hear all about that one. Very, very involved. And like I said, I highly recommend that you come in and see me before school, after school. I'm single, have no family. I have time to this. I really love it, and I really care about doing a good job here and making sure that not only my brightest students, but my lower students that really need that help to bring them up. I really have a heart for them. I was sort of a twice exceptional student when I was a kid, and had a lot of learning disabilities along with a lot of natural talent and abilities in other areas. So I see those kids that need the help, and I really have a heart for them, and I really try to do everything in my power to make sure that they're getting what they need. Okay, so done randomly. Let's go ahead.
All right, I'm Jared Ackley. I teach U.S. history. So I want to kind of echo some of the things that he said. Most of my career has been high school. I've had one stint in middle school, Hudson Bend 2 years ago, and then I went to Cedar Park High School last year. I'm back at Hudson Bend. And let me tell you how blessed you guys are. This education here is phenomenal. I've taught in 3 states, like I said, all high school students, and I have 8th graders that are as prepared as most high school kids I've ever taught anywhere. I mean, it really is phenomenal. The 7th grade history team's awesome. All the teaching teams I've been around, say over and over again. That's why I moved my family here. We moved from Florida 3 years ago, and that's why I'm here. So this is a great place. U.S. history-wise, I'm a digital curriculum teacher. I'm a next generation teacher here, and your children's classroom is 100% digital. If they told you they needed earbuds for my classroom, they weren't scamming you. We do use some videos, and they plug their videos in, listen to videos, kind of work on their own speed, especially when we start to get into places where some of them are more advanced. It's a really easy way to differentiate instruction, so we get high-level instruction with some groups and lower-level instruction with people who need more instruction at that point. You know, U.S. history, I love teaching U.S. history, and I think that your children have a fun time in my class. I try to make it a lot of fun, very interactive. We're going to be doing YouTube videos that you can watch here soon. Every single unit, we're going to do a YouTube video on the unit and part of our project-based learning. Please let me know if you need any help, if your children need any help with anything. I know that there are all different levels of kids when it comes to their comfort level with computers and all that kind of stuff. And the kids that do really well, I teach the kids that don't do as well and teach me. And so the digital part of it, if your child is struggling with, that's a teacher issue, not a learning issue. And so we're going to teach them the right way to do it. But if your child's saying, hey, I just can't get this, I can't get my assignments turned in, you guys need to let me know. I try to monitor it as well, but I know sometimes students aren't as willing to come to their teacher and say, hey, I'm struggling. Just email me, and we'll sit down with them. We'll make sure we can get through all those kind of technical issues that they might have. So I'm going to talk about go time. I know I saw a lot of heads. You know what go time is. It's 30 minutes a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If your kids have a lot of homework at night, you need to ask them what they're doing with their go time, because none of us, math probably gives quite a bit of homework, more homework than the other subjects. I don't give very much homework. They should be able to get most of their work done in my class. Maybe twice a week for pre-APs, and if they're in regular classrooms, maybe once a week. And so not a lot of extra work in my class. So if they utilize their go time well, then they shouldn't have a lot of homework when they get home. Now on Thursdays we do what are called table talks. It's basically anti-bullying. What's that? Mondays. Okay, Monday. Get my days crossed up here. So we do. It's basically bowling, anti-bullying, goal setting, that kind of stuff. And then on Fridays we have clubs starting up. And there were, how many clubs do we have? Like 70.
Enough for every kid to have a couple of places.
And the clubs are, I mean, about anything you can think of. Lots of different sports clubs, mountain biking, as you know, the mountain bike team we have here is awesome. Knitting and crochet and music, ukulele. I mean, about anything you can think of. There are so many clubs that they can do on Fridays.
I want to do O'Brien's club. It's the chill out club, because she's decided that 8th graders, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, they don't want stress. So they're just going to
So, you guys have any questions for me? All right.
So I'm sure you're familiar with the team concept if your kids have been here for more than a year. We are the silver team. We are the silver team, and so your kids have these four core subjects with the same set of teachers, which makes it really nice for us to be able to have conversations and to reach out to your kids and to work with them to make sure they're successful. We do use a process called RTI, response to intervention, and if we see that a student is struggling, and just struggling even in one class, we start examining what's going on with that kid, and we'll talk as a team, and try to figure out what works best for that student. If one teacher's having a great amount of success with that kid in the classroom and somebody else is seeing some struggle, we're going to go talk to that teacher, and I'm going to go find out what Mr. Ackley's doing that's helping that kid be successful, and I'm going to find ways to incorporate that into my classroom. If a kid is, maybe he needs a little support in a class, we can work out a tutorial schedule to make sure, and we make sure we coordinate with each other so that they're not being pulled 16 different directions, because 8th graders, I mean, that part of the brain that makes decisions and prioritizes is a little fuzzy. And so we want to help them prioritize, because they do struggle with that sometimes. And so if we can take that guesswork out of it for them and say, you know what, on Mondays you're with Ford, and on Tuesdays you're with Ackley, Wednesdays you're with Peterson, Thursdays you're with Wright, and just set that schedule down for a kid, that makes it so much easier for them to know where they need to be when they need to be there. We do all run tutorials. I'm one of those early people too. My daughter, for some odd reason, is running cross country. I'm not sure why. And so we're here at like 6:50 in the morning. And so, I'm here too. Come on in. So that's an opportunity for them. So we meet as a team a couple of times a week. We meet every 2 weeks and talk with the counselor and the assistant principal about our concerns with certain kids. Sometimes you have kids that are experiencing behavioral issues, and we need to have a little help and figure out what's going on with them. Sometimes it's just something as simple as restructuring their environment to make sure they're successful. And so we use our team time for that, and we're very blessed to have that team time. I've been on other campuses where we have not had it. And it is very nice to have that dedicated time in our day. We have both a color team and then we have a discipline team that is your area of expertise. So I'm on the silver team, but then I'm also on the ELA team. And we have dedicated time each day as well. And that, you don't even know how fortunate we are to have that until you live somewhere that you don't. For ELA, I have both academic and pre-AP. Both of them have vocabulary, both of them read nonstop. We read a ton. We do a lot of writing too. This year, pre-AP will end up with a little more homework, but it's stretched. So like, they have vocabulary in pre-AP. They have vocabulary, they'll get it like on a Wednesday. 2 weeks from that Wednesday is when they test over it. So they have time in there. If they're studying the night before they test, that's on them. Because their instructions are 5 at night until you know it. Those are their instructions. So when they're home cramming tonight because their first vocabulary test is tomorrow, do not have pity on them because they've had them for 2 weeks. For regular, they've had them for a week and a half. Their list is shorter. Regular, pre-AP comes out of high school, college level reading. It's words they're going to encounter there. For 8th grade academic, it comes out of the reading that we do. It comes out of the text in class. So it's on both cases, it's content driven. So it's words that they're going to encounter. They're not just plucked from the stratosphere. And, oh, I like this word. Let's use it. And especially pre-AP, the words they're going to see on the AP exam and the words they're going to see on the SAT and ACT. For academic classes, it's the words they're going to see in their reading that after 24 years, I know kids don't know. But the experts who write the books, I think the kids know it. And so we slow down and we make sure they get those words. The other thing that pre-AP will end up with a little more homework is reading. We do reading through lit circles, and it gives them, it's like a book club for kids. And so if you attend book clubs and you enjoy talking about it with your friends, that's the same vibe we teach them. But they don't have the language for it yet. And so we practice with roles. They have a job, and they bring that into their lit circle. They each have a different job. And then when they start getting the hang of that, the roles flex a little more, and they bring their own questions. They bring their own ideas, and it takes less guidance. And so I can start backing off. And they start taking ownership of those lit circles. We do that in regular as well. And it's so neat to see these kids. They bloom, and they think. And it's fun to see their brains get twirled. It's cool. And so that's why I like lit circles, is they do better thinking, and they have more real conversations like we would have as adults. And so we teach them that skill. So that pre-AP though ends up with some more reading outside of class. Your academic kids, if they're in the middle of homework and stuff they're not finishing in class, I really try to limit that because most of the kids need a little more support. And I find that when they unplug from school and they unplug from me, then they get confused and I don't know what to do with this. No, we're going to do it right here. And part of that's me being a control freak, I know. But I want them in front of me so I see what they're doing and I make sure they're on track. And so that's the reason in academic there's not as much homework, is it's really, I want to know what you're doing and make sure you're getting it right. Because if you just practiced it wrong umpteen times, now it's seeming it wrong. And so let's get it done right in front of me, and then you can practice it and I know it's right. And so that's my thinking on that. No questions about ELA? All right, what about anything 8th grade related, because you've got us here? Yes? Okay, so officially, they can get it. They can come in at 8:15 freedom, right, to roam. They can come in through the main office at 8 with a note from a parent. If you let us know they're coming and we know they're coming, we'll meet them up there, or they can come in through the office at like 7:45. For me, I ask them to come for 7:45 so that I can get everything ready for the day. But I know they're here to crack it on. So, I mean, they can come down at any point, just make sure that the teacher knows they're coming. We're pretty flexible. Other questions? Yes.
I know a lot of athletes, they have their games on Thursdays.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't travel, they don't get back.
Yes.
on Thursday. So are all the tests or exams going to be on a Friday?
If they are not, they will know far enough in advance to plan for that. So like this one's on, my vocabulary test is on a Thursday, but occasionally it'll fall on a Friday. And so when it does, they've had it for 2 weeks. So they have time to kind of coordinate and plan for that. And I kind of see that as, you know, I've got two now, I've got one in college and one in high school, and he's a sophomore. And I know what he's dealing with, and you've got, you know, you younger, older ones, like watching what they go through at the high school, and they go, like those nights are intense, right? That's a heavy load, and so trying to teach them in a little world how to manage that, so that when they get to the big world, and I always tell them this is a cheap place to learn, because your grades don't follow you. Like, if they're gonna struggle, this is the cheapest place they can struggle. You know, let me give you something you've never seen before, let me challenge you, let me cause you to really look at it, because it's cheap here. Up there, I mean, I know I'm paying for college, it gets a lot more expensive than high school, because you're like, GPA. So that's our thinking. Other questions? Y'all are easy. Come on. I like that. All right, easy questions. Okay, so I think, are we 7 yet? Well, look at that. How much better can I get? You can take a crazy flight now. No. Oh yeah, that's the other thing we didn't talk about was phones. We use them. We use them appropriately, but we use them a lot. I know for me, our dictionaries do not have half of our vocabulary, especially the creative stuff. We use those things. And I can send them to the website to get more information, and then we apply it. It's awesome. And so we use it.